Hello, everybody. Welcome to Code Breakers Live. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. It is my sister Shushu's birthday today, so we're not going to go quite as long as we normally do because I need to go sing happy birthday to her. But I do have a special guest joining me today. My friend Walter Legage is going to be coming on with us in a moment, and we're going to talk about some of the new energy prophecies that my dad had seen. Now, they're not new prophecies, they're about a new energy. And so we're going to play some of those and read some of those because we don't have video and audio of all of them. But Walter has done some incredible research on this topic. And so I really wanted to have him share with you guys today some of the stuff he was sharing with me. But before we do that, I do want to give you another little announcement, which is that, thank you, Lou. Which is that I interviewed Eric Trump. I did the interview, and we're going to be posting it on Wednesday. But I did it. I interviewed Eric. He gave me 45 minutes, which was great. I thought I was only going to have 30. And we had such a good talk. It was so good. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. But we do we have a preview, Lou? We have a preview. So let's play that quickly so you guys can see a little bit of the interview.
We were at the Reawaken Tour conferences, and he goes, you need to listen to this. You need to listen to this prophecy from a man named Clement, and he's amazing. And just tell me what you think. And Clay wasn't sure if I was going to think it was crazy or amazing. And I get about 2 sentences into it, and you just had some of them there in the intro, and that was a beautiful intro, but you just had some of them. And the man's favorite color is going to be gold. And his name will be Trump, and he's going to yell from the heavens, and they're going to try and take him out. They're going to try and kill him, and they're going to go after him, and they're going to go after his family. He's going to be a 2-term president. They are going to do everything. He's going to be the least suspecting person to win, and they're going to do everything they can to take that man down. And despite that, he's going to have the voice of the people. The people are going to be behind him, and he's going to bring God back into society, and he's going to find his own religion. And oh my, honestly, when I first heard it, it was special, Dane. It's even more special today. Rehearing it in those clips is even more special today.
Did you see? We had such a great talk, you guys. Eric knows the prophecies. Eric knows everything, and I told Eric some stuff too. I made sure to tell him Iran and North Korea are going to bash their heads together over in the Middle East while those cats and dogs are fighting. America is going to prosper. Why? Because of a new energy. So that's why I wanted to bring Walter to talk to you guys today. But before I do that, I want to see your comments. I haven't said hello to everybody. So hi, everybody. I see y'all strumming, Florida Beach Mom. I see you guys there. It's so nice to see you. Is West Virginia Mountain Mama here today? Are you here, Mama? We've been praying for you. You guys, okay, I'm seeing your reactions now. It was such a fun time with Eric. And, Eric and I have become friends sort of because of the, not sort of, we have, because of the Reawaken America tour. I saw Eric quite a bit while we did the tour. And so, isn't it, yeah, it's awesome to hear Eric's word. You can see that he knows what was prophesied, and we were able to have such a good talk. His new book, Under Siege, is out. And what I said to him in the interview is that I tried to get it and it was sold out, which is a great problem to have. And so I see you're coming from Oklahoma. I'm looking in the chat. Denver, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Canada. Oh yes, New Jersey. I see you there. Florida Beach Mom. Strumming's calling out Florida Beach Mom, and I called both of you out. Nuclear power plants, huh? YouTube crashed when I said Eric Trump, really? Man, YouTube has been giving me so much trouble. Kentucky. I don't know. I'm not the Esther, you guys. No, that's not me. There's no cartels that are going to be afraid of me. Indiana, Long Island, Detroit, Alabama, the Netherlands, awesome, Long Island again, California, Florida, Louisiana, Minnesota, North Carolina, Iowa, Firepoint will be discussed today. Yes, New Zealand, welcome. Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Central Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, California. Eric Trump can't be the Esther J. Dog. Stop. It's a woman anointed by God. All you men that keep trying to write in and tell us you're the Esther, you got to stop that. Okay. He's very clearly said a woman anointed by God. So at this stage, it's for me, it's Erica Kirk or maybe it's still Christina. We're watching it. We're watching it. I was pretty blown away by how many things lined up with that Erica Kirk, though. So we're watching Erica and praying for her. And I just want to just let everybody know that I do not think Erica Kirk had anything to do with the murder of her husband. And the person who's doing that, Candace Owens, is really losing her mind. I don't know if you guys have been watching that, but it's too much. When she started to accuse Erica and his own people. Desperate. Michigan. Arizona. Oh, we pray for the people of Jamaica. There is a storm, yes, coming through. Canada again. We're praying for you guys in Canada. Texas. San Diego. Oh, I love seeing where everybody's from. And I'm seeing Mara Nosti is in Switzerland. It's beautiful there. Is it snowing there now? I don't remember. So that's the House of Destiny chat, by the way. Welcome to everybody who is in the House of Destiny chat. My husband is there. Thank you for the super chat. And also somebody else gave a super chat there. Just thank you so much for that. I did see Candace. Now, when I watched Candace, I didn't actually hear her. I thought people were saying she blamed Trump, but I don't think she actually directly did. But no matter what. Okay. So, and we have some people in the X chat as well. Glenna Peach, I see you there. Winifred, Gwyneth, Jerry Neal, welcome. I love it when people are watching from X. Okay, so let's get going here because we've got some stuff to share with you today. So first of all, let's bring on Walter Blagage. Hi, Walter. Welcome.
Hi, how are you, Donna?
Doing good. How are you today, Walter? It's so nice for you to join us.
I am blessed.
Great. Well, Walter, it's been a very interesting journey. And I've known you for years now. I think you first started contacting us not long after Dad died. So 2017, 18, we started hearing the name Walter Blagage. And Walter is doing some very interesting things and has followed what my dad has prophesied about the new energy. And, that's something that's kind of become a topic again for us, especially recently, because with the new energy prophecies, he kept shouting about a death to debt. And I've been watching that 3-Eye Atlas situation. Everybody thinks the aliens are coming. I do not. I think that something may be discovered with that the interstellar objects. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the new energy and the revelation that Walter has gotten from looking at my dad's prophecies. So, Walter, first of all, tell everybody, just quickly introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are. And how did you find out about my dad?
Well, my name is Walter Blagage, and I have, in the past, I've followed, actually back in 2000, before 2016 election, I had saw the Trump stuff that your dad had prophesied about. And that made me start to look into things because in 2010, the Lord told me that I was going to build an energy company or companies, and that I would have more money than I could spend in a lifetime, but the sole purpose of it was to fund the kingdom of God. And so that always has fit into every one of Kim's prophecies. So as we go through this, I know God has brought much more than the new energy. We're going to end this with also the fire point is another prophecy that we're going to be bringing in. But I know that we have time constraints today, so we're going to be going through the prophecies and how it fits into the things that I'm doing, and how actually Kim had prophesied that it's actually 5 new energies. It's not 1, it's 5. So, and timing is the first thing. And right now, this is God's timing for all this to come forth. As we're seeing all these things that are happening around the world, from everything, and we're seeing the youth starting to rise up. We're seeing, I have connections into the prophecy that Kim had on the Messianic prophet, and we have things going on in Israel that are going to tie it in, and also the newest side, other than the energy stuff we're going to talk about first, but also the FirePoint, the computer system. And it's just amazing when I look at it. And the Lord showed me stuff just from studying this right now that we're going to be revealing today that I never saw before. So, but we can go ahead and I'll let you take over, and we can start with the new energy to start out with. And we're going to talk about timing, and the first things that I believe that they're going to be bringing up is timing, that there was going to be a global interruption before it came forth. So
very interesting. Yes.
So
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Walter. Now, I was looking through the prophecies that you sent in, and we have a lot of stuff from 2005, 2006, but 2007, and that's lining up with when he started to see Trump, and he started to prophesy Trump would be a trumpet. So it's interesting to me that when these things that are seemingly separate start to line up as well. And so, just like you said, the timing is everything. And I don't know which one you want to start with. Which prophecy should we do? The one from February 2nd, 2007? Oh, no, we've got May 11th.
Yeah, that's the one we're going to start with. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Do you want to go ahead and read those?
Yes, let me read it.
Okay.
So on May 11th, 2007, and again, we don't have video for all of these dates. Sometimes we can find them. I think we're probably trying to hunt some of them down, but this is pre smartphones, when everybody was filming with a phone. And so if they filmed my dad in a church, it was because the church was filming him. Sometimes they filmed their own things. But what we have here is a quote from May 11th of 2007, where he said, "Great will be the change with the energy crisis for the motor industry. This that is going to happen shall come because of a global interruption." And that's just what you indicated a moment ago. And so what are your thoughts about that?
Well, and there's more than once that he talks about a global interruption. And the global interruption was COVID-19. There's never been a global interruption that's happened since then. And that fits right into, the last 4 years and 5 years, more than 5 years now since it originally started. But that is the first time that the world has had a total global interruption.
That is true. And you know what? I didn't even think of that till you brought it up, but that's true. That was really a huge global interruption. And so, Lou, will you pull up the next one? This is also from May 11th, 2007. There will be a global event that will take place that will cause the motor industry to change so rapidly, and people will say we thought it was was coming to nothing, but look now. All right.
So actually, in the completion of that prophecy, he was actually talking about Ford.
Yes.
Okay. And
Okay.
actually, some of the energies that we use are fuels for cars and trucks. And you'll see that one of them is environmentally friendly. Compressed natural gas is one of our energies. And Ford has 6 different engines that run on compressed natural gas right now that would be able to go into the public. And we'll be able to put that compressed natural gas out at a cost of under $2 a gallon.
Wow.
And and that actually, I didn't put it in this stuff, but there's actually a prophecy of that Kim says it will be 3 and then it'll go to 2 and then it'll go lower. Well, we're actually, depending on how much we get taxed on it, we could be closer to $1 a gallon even.
Wow. That would
So
be
that
great.
was, yes. And but that's just one of the new fuels. So that's just it. It's like one piece fits into another. Now Ford also, another thing that we're looking at is that we also are dealing with hydrogen, and hydrogen is actually the fuel of the future. And so hydrogen, they have vehicles, they don't have it perfected yet, but you can put hydrogen in the car that has a hydrogen fuel cell. It takes 5 minutes to fill it up and it'll drive 500 miles and it runs off the electric engine. So it's an electric car. And the hydrogen just just charges the battery that runs the vehicle, and the emissions is water.
Emissions water.
Yes.
Wow. That is really interesting.
Yes.
And because I know that he prophesied at one point, and we've had conversations about this too in person. So sometimes I'll forget, did he prophesy that, or did I have that conversation with him? And both things happened in this instance. But he said that there would be a car where you'd be able to choose with a button which energy you'd be using. So that's very interesting. Very interesting about hydrogen too. I wonder how many people know that. I'm just looking in the chat to see responses because that's very interesting. All right, let's go on.
Okay.
April 8th of 2006. Dad prophesied, and God said they will say, oh, it's because of science. They will say it's because of scientific breakthrough, a new source of energy. No, it's not only because of that. But God said, I will give the spirit of discovery, creation, and inventiveness into the motor industry, not in Japan, not in any other place, not in Germany, not in Switzerland, but in Detroit, Michigan, says the Lord. And they will mock the discoverers. They would mock the inventors. Who is Ford? Let me tell you. God says Ford will be revived. It shall be revived in a way that shall shock the motor industry, and they shall say, where did this all come from? You know, Lou, we do have that prophecy because it used to be in the old intro. Maybe that's one that Danny's still looking for, because I'd love to put these together into a video where it's just the prophecies, and I'm probably going to do that. But go ahead on that one, if whatever you want to interject with that,
Okay.
Walter.
Well, go ahead and step into the next picture. And I got ahead of myself, but there's the Ford. You can see that they have the different motors that run on our environmentally friendly compressed natural gas, and it's different, up to 10 cylinder they have even that can run on it. So it can go into box trucks and other vehicles. And Ford has been struggling for a lot of years, so this may be an opening to them. This is already existing technology. This isn't anything new. This was years ago they had this back. I think this was probably 4 or 5 years ago when I originally made this slide up and stuff too. So we're back to the same thing on Ford, but you know, it might be something else. You know, God can always open it up to anything. I don't ever say that I'm the only solution. This is the only thing. I just want to bring forth what God has showed me. So,
And that's very important that you do that, Walter. And I think that you are a very important voice in this moment, and a person that's actually working in this. So that's why I was so interested to have you share with everyone today. And you notice Ford offers 5 compatible engines. So again, my dad saw the 5 different ones, and he said Ford would be revived. Now, this was years ago when the Ford stock shot up. Now, that was a long time. That's a long time ago now. But there was more to it, and I just find that's so interesting because Ford, like you said, Ford has struggled, and so this is very hopeful as well. So why don't we bring up the next slide, Lou? Okay, so this is also May 11th, 2007. This global interruption shall cause men to go to the board and say, why didn't we see it? It was already written there in the 50s, the 40s, and the 50s. I think there's a typo there. It was already somewhere in the thinking of mankind of science. I'm sure we can find video of this. There's got to be one somewhere.
so now part of this is that we're going to find out that, and we're going to be going through the different sources. And that was one of the things that that your father prophesied about, the different sources. And this is just God saying all this that is going to come down to are wasted resources that are here all over America and all over the world, that we can go, and God says we'll take those wasted resources and make income out of them for the kingdom.
Beautiful.
So if we step into the next one, we can start to go into looking at these sources.
You have to see it in the spirit so you can build it in the natural. And there's 2007 again.
And this is, when you talk about see it in the spirit, means that you have to look. All these people are looking for these new energies. Everybody's out there saying, is it this over here? Well, nobody's looking and saying, is this company doing this for the kingdom of God? That's why you have to look at it in the spirit. You have to look at the God side of it, because that's what's the most important thing. It's God's agenda, and most people that are looking at this are looking for personal financial gain anyway. So, but that's just kind of from the very beginning with my company, Gabriel Environmental Rescue. Anybody that's become a part of it, I pray over them, and they have to have a God agenda. I'm not looking for people that say, oh, I want to be a part of this. They want to be a part of it because of the kingdom agenda, not because of the finance or the money that it's going to make, because really that finance is for their calling to do for this day and this time, for their calling for God. So that's where we're at with that last prophecy.
Yes. And so that's so true. I think that's why we have this sort of struggle with this right now, of actually grasping it and getting to that moment, is because of what God is requiring of us. And that's so important. Just like you said, that it's not just to make money, but to expand and the kingdom of God, as you said. So Lou, I want you to pull up the next one. Okay, there we go. So October 7th of 2006, Dad said, but now is the time for the discovery, and science shall suddenly understand the power of the spiritual force that is behind it. Okay, Walter.
Yes, and everything that's kind of back to the same agenda that we're putting it on, a kingdom agenda and a God agenda. And that's the real way that you understand it. No matter, and we're going to go through different prophecies that Kim put out, but that's the real agenda on everything. And those first two, we'll be going into talking about the sources and this from everything. But this is this is God's agenda. It's not our agenda. We're just here to fill in the pieces. This is time that we can come, and it's time that Christians are supposed to rise up. And right now, there's 10% of the Earth's population is Christian. And we need to rise up and get that other 90%, because we have to go out and preach the gospel of the kingdom throughout the world so that Christ can return. So that's an important thing. And we're talking about timelines, and all of this is fitting right into the timelines of today.
Really, it is. That's so true. That's so true. And so I see this next one that you have ready for us. Not petroleum, not oil. Wow. And
Yeah.
those were both from 2005, May 22nd and September 3rd of 2005.
And let's just shoot through the next few that are just telling you each thing, and then we'll
Not
come
oil.
out and okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this is October 28th of 2006. It will come from what you least expected. And that is very interesting to me. And on September 3rd of 2005, it is currently being wasted. And there's that point being made again, is that because he prophesied under our feet, under the ocean, trash, bugs. These are things he prophesied over the years, that there would be new energy sources coming from. Because he did prophesy the big E, but he very clearly said that it wasn't just ethanol. There was more to it. And so it's very interesting to me, because you do hear about people, I recently heard about a man who had figured out a way to run a vehicle on water. And as soon as he, patented his idea, it gets bought up and shelved. And I think he died or disappeared. I have to look that up because I'm just remembering
Yes.
it now. But
His
it
name
does
was
seem like-
Stanley Myers.
Oh, Oh, wonderful.
Yes, actually, that's what I started out with him. He was from Ohio, and I actually was working on hydrogen. That I was taking hydrogen and making a little fuel cell that you could run off of a 12-volt battery for cars to increase production and reduce the gas mileage on vehicles.
That's strange. I thought of him now, and you knew him. What was his name?
His name was Stanley Myers, and he did get, after he signed a contract with NASA, and right after he did that, he mysteriously went into a restaurant, met with people, walked out, and dropped dead in the parking lot. And they said that they thought he was poisoned, but we never really found out about it.
So are there, who does that? Who is trying to stop people from discovering new energy sources? People who profit from oil?
It's the oil companies, and the people that make all the money off of it don't want something to replace them. So,
well, that's kind of, I guess that's obvious. You would think they wouldn't be so bold as to be so obvious, but they are, because this is not about energy, but I saw the testimony of the whistleblower to the Boeing whistleblower, and he testified in Congress a couple years back. And he was in tears when he testified to Congress about things that he was seeing, bad things he was seeing going on at Boeing, and the way they were putting together the planes and things like that. And after he had testified, he was found dead in his truck. And that obviously, again, that was to do with Boeing, but I think it's the same thing going on. People are quite bold as into just take out people who are exposing them. I mean, it wasn't subtle at all, and it seems to be the same thing. And I'm sorry to hear about Stanley Myers. I read that story not long ago, and I thought, how is this still happening? But it evidently is, and of course, God knows that it is, and so God has a plan that will crush the plans of the enemy, and I truly believe that.
Yeah,
But
that
let's
was
go on to
about
the
10
next
years ago. That was about 10 years ago that he passed. So it's
10
been
years ago.
a while. Yeah.
I might have. Yes, I think so because I read it. I didn't see it like on the news. Okay, so we have September 9th of 2005, and my dad prophesied, "It shall come from the least obvious thing. They will say, 'Oh, how obvious it was. It was right before our very eyes.'"
And you will find out as we go further into this, as we go through these things, you'll say, geez, it's right there. It's always been right in front of us. So
I really believe that's going to be the case. May 22nd of 2005, he prophesied that it would be safer than oil or petroleum. Let's go to the next one, Lou. And Walter, just interject anytime if you want
oh
to add.
yeah. I wanted to go through this is the last one before we go into the sources and stuff. So let's
Great.
just finish off with this one and we can go into it.
Sure. August 25th, 2006, he prophesied, "How is it that we do not smell what we smelled before? In the fumes, it is gone." That's interesting.
So what you'll find out is, as we go through all this, is that everything that we're dealing with is environmental issues. All of our fuels are environmentally friendly fuels. We do different ways to make them cleaner. We do different ways to have fuels that we can do different things, from running turbines off of to running vehicles in cars or anything else, any other fuel source that's out there. But let's go ahead and step into the next section.
Okay, so this was June 16th of 2007. And my dad prophesied, "And they will say, 'What will we do now? We have so many sources. We shall design an engine in this way. And shall we design a plane in this way? And shall we not use this, but we shall use another? And what about the air? What is in the air? What is in the sea? What is in the land? What is in the air?'" And I think that's what some of that I was referring to a little while ago, is him seeing it under our feet in the oceans and in the air.
So now we're going to go through each of those prophecies, and I'll show you how it pertains to us. So
here it is.
We'll start with the one that he always started out with first, was the garbage and the paper and the bugs. So we'll go ahead and go into
this is the one I was referring to a little while ago. At March 10th, 2006, he prophesied, "It shall come from the garbage, it shall come from the ground, it shall come from paper, and it will come from bugs eating a bunch of stuff." I'm seeing a bunch of bugs eating a bunch of stuff. God said this is going to be the craziest thing. They're going to say, "Wow, this is being wasted. The creatures are eating what could be used to cause our engines to work and our vehicles to move, from dirt and bugs and dung." So what would that be?
So we're going to start with the next clip, which is the bugs and garbage.
Okay.
Right now, in all the landfills all over our country, they have a methane comes out of them, and they usually have a flare that they may burn off as methane. But right now, even in our area, our garbage companies use that fuel from there to power their trucks to drive around.
Wow.
So when he was looking at all that, it's back to, and a lot of this is going to come from all these sources are different sources of methane, the majority of them. Yes, which is natural gas.
Yes.
All right. Okay. But right now, as you see, we have the equipment that we actually capture and liquefy methane from landfills that they use and they sell locally. The picture up there is from Puerto Rico.
And you can capture it.
Yes, you just capture it and then we liquefy it. So you make it mobile, rather than, you can liquefy it or compress it. And we liquefy, all of our equipment is liquefaction equipment that we use for most of our things that we're doing right now. because when you make it into a liquid, it's 600 times smaller.
Oh,
So it
oh,
makes it easy to transport. It's easier than if you compressed it into a bunch of big tanks and tried to drive it and take it anywhere. So, and this is just another thing saying, here's another source that's just been sitting there that's never been used.
yes. That's actually incredible, but it makes sense.
Now, let's go to the next one, which is from dirt in the ground. This is what the Lord showed me from the very beginning,
Mhm.
which I've also found other sources since then, but it was the company's was designed to capture flare gas. There's flare gas all over the world, throughout the Middle East, all over this country, and it's just what they do is because of when they bring up the oil, the gas builds up pressure, and if they don't have a place to put it, like into a pipeline or anything, then they have to burn it off or it'll explode. So right
Wow.
now, there's you can go out and there's I don't have the figure in front of me. I should have had it prepared for today, but it's
It's okay.
like 300 billion cubic meters of methane is being flared. That's methane is made. Now there's a lot of other gases in the flared gas, but methane is the biggest one out of them.
Yes.
So what we can do is we can capture that flared gas. We actually have portable equipment that we can just pull up and hook into a group of flares. And then we can liquefy that flared gas and use it for fuel for cars and trucks. We can also use it to power turbines to produce electricity. So there's a lot of
Energy.
different, and it's another waste that Kim says there's another waste that Kim prophesied about. And it's just being burned up and going up into the air. We've actually met with some of the leaders in the Middle East, and they want us to come in and capture their flares.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
as far as, and the neat thing about it is that the vice president of Gabriel Environmental Rescue, his name is Rory Kay, and he's the Messianic rabbi that's a prophet, and we brought him into the company because he wanted to go to these kings in the Middle East, and every time we strike a deal, his goal is to lead them to Christ.
Oh, that's great. That is the best. And his name is Rory Kay, and he's a Messianic Jew. Is that correct?
Yes, and he has lineage. And if you would like, he told me, I talked to him today, and he told me that if you would like him to come on your show, he'd be happy to do it sometime for you.
Oh, I would love to have him. I think that would be a great conversation because my dad prophesied about what God was going to do through the Messianic Jews, that God was going to use them greatly. And so whenever I hear that, especially someone working in the prophetic, that's another fulfilled prophecy there, or in the middle of being fulfilled. We kind of, we will bring topics up here knowing they're not fulfilled yet, but we're sort of almost there. That's what's happened with the Esther prophecy. And that is especially with the death to debt and the big E and the new energy prophecies. We're in the middle of it, but we have all these prophecies showing us what is coming. And so that's why we do this show and analysis. We do those shows so that everybody can be brought in to, because obviously I'm not going to know everything. I don't understand all of this stuff, but I have the prophecies. And so when we can come together, we can share the information and the knowledge that we have to help us to understand where we are on a timeline, but also what the prophecies mean, because there's more depth to it. There's more to it, and it's not anything my dad could have concocted in his mind. He was the voice, but it is coming from God. And when we understand that about the prophetic, okay, this isn't Kim Clement's opinion, or Kim Clement didn't study some stuff and figure some stuff out. That's not what happened here. And so this is what makes it so fascinating and so unique. But let's go to the next, to our next slide here. This is so interesting, Walter.
Okay. So we went from the bugs and garbage to the ground, and now we go to the dung. So
Yes.
right now we can capture and we can take cow manure and create methane out of it that we can pump into the same. So it's the same thing. There's another resource, and it could be cow or pig manure. It can be any kind of manure like that. Right now they're doing it in dairy farms because it's a large amount of cows in the small area that they are
Makes sense.
able to right now go in and take methane out of it, and just either they can go and put it into pipelines or use it, or we can liquefy it and take it for other uses too.
And there's methane again. Very
Yeah.
interesting. My gosh. Who would have thought that God has given us exactly what we need if we just have the eyes to see it?
Mhm. So
Let's
now
go to the
let's look
next
at the
one.
next one. Oh, well, we missed one out, but it's all right. But there was also supposed to be one after that that was under dung, which we can actually go to sewage treatment plants, and we're able to take human waste and turn it into methane that we can sell into the market.
That is amazing. And run our vehicles and get power, energy from.
Yes. So, and it's actually being done in, I think, Finland or Sweden right now.
Really?
So, yes.
If you
All
see me
right.
looking down, everyone, it's because I'm taking notes today because this is so interesting.
So we should have, we went to the next clip, but we should have had a prophecy that should have been in there. You know what? I didn't put the date on it. Maybe that's why he didn't list this. Let me read this off to you. It says, God
Okay.
says, now the second one shall be revealed. The second one shall be revealed. It shall come from the sea, deep within the sea. So that's what this is right here. There you go. Deep within the sea where these oil platforms are, they're burning off flares gas. They're burning off that methane that's deep underneath the sea. And the second thing that's deep within the sea that we also produce is that we can produce hydrogen out of water. So you have both hydrogen and methane that are both there in that prophecy.
Hydrogen and methane from the
Oh,
sea.
well,
So they're burning it off?
there we got out of whack, but there was the thing on the sewage sewage
Oh, there we go. They were just
treatment
flipped.
plants.
That's why.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
no problem. All right. So we can get,
Biomethane from urban sewage sludge in Norway. New technology installed at waste recycling facility located in Hamar to produce compressed biomethane gas that we can turn into CNG or hydrogen. Wow. Oh my goodness. I had no idea any of this was going on in the world.
all right. So we can go on to the next one. And this is actually talking about the hydrogen side of stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So what we have is we have two different technologies for hydrogen. We also we put the environmentally friendly hydrogen fuels. So, but we can make our environmentally friendly carbon-free hydrogen gas. Now, when they make hydrogen out, you can make hydrogen out of methane, but it leaves off emissions when they do go through that process. Well, we have new technologies that use microwave plasma, and it actually generates plasma and it cracks hydrogen, or it cracks methane and turns it into hydrogen. And then all the other parts of it that like are the carbons and all the stuff that you need to get out, it actually turns into solids and liquids that you can sell into the market.
And fuel your car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
So
what
you
do
got
they have to
fuel
do?
and the other products. Yeah.
Well, okay, so would they need a different kind of an engine or motor to do that? Would they have to build a special
Well,
car?
right now, Cummins actually makes a semi truck that runs on hydrogen, and you could make. I'm sure they have engines for the cars, but it's still the easiest way is to produce and run the electric cars on hydrogen,
I see.
because then you don't have to plug them in and charge them. You don't have
Yes.
anything on the grid that's going to cause any issues. and just the hydrogen mixes with, usually you're mixing with oxygen, and that creates the power, that the energy that comes out. And when it burns, it's the same thing, hydrogen and oxygen, and that's why you get the water after it burns.
I see. I was going to ask that question. Like, are you burning it? Like, how are you? I see. Okay. You have to understand, Walter, I don't know anything about this kind of stuff. So you're educating me, and I know you're educating everybody. Let me look at the chat quickly. Someone's bringing up volcanoes. So I've heard that before. I had someone who was talking to my husband and I about some of these things, and he had said that under the ground, when there's earthquakes and volcanoes, that that is that methane, or is that
Well,
something else?
it's going to release whatever gas is underneath the ground. Now, I don't know if they have different, it might be different gases in a volcano. I'm not versed on that. I kind of
I
study
asked that
certain
because my
things.
dad. Yeah, I asked that because my dad did prophesy quite a bit about volcanoes and a few times about volcanoes and earthquakes being connected to this as well, and so I just remember that now when I was asking that. Wow. Okay. So we have, what do we have next year? A prophecy. Is this a prophecy slide? Let's go to that. Is this the right one, Walter? March 10th,
Well,
2006?
yeah, that was still back that it's beneath your feet and in the ground, which
In the
was the ones
ground.
we already covered. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And there you go. You skipped one. That's why I was asking, Lou. Okay. It's right under your feet, coming from the
Yeah, coming
soil
from the
of
soil of
America.
America.
So this is something then that we could deduce is going to emerge from America, from the United States.
Yeah, and it's all over the whole world, but the U.S. has one of the biggest amounts of methane under it. As I'm from Ohio, and we have one of the largest natural gas deposits in this area between Pennsylvania and Ohio. And
I see the map.
now that map is coming up because we're talking. That is actually a thing that I'm showing that is stranded gas. Now, what stranded gas is that there's methane or natural gas all over the country. And you see all those green areas, or all those areas that are circled in, are methane deposits. And every single one of those has methane going out to the public for use or whatever in the pipelines and stuff. But they have more methane than they can put in the pipelines. So it's just sitting there. So right now in Texas, you can the stranded gas that's down there, there are companies that will pay you to take that gas. Not that you pay for it, they pay you to take it because they get more benefits from producing more, being a bigger seller of natural gas. So it's all over the country and all over the world, and that's just it. This is all there. It's just having the technology to come in and take it and use it. And that's what we're doing. We're going in and taking that and liquefying it and just turning it into fuels that, and it also is a alternative for a diesel replacement, that you can mix the LNG or CNG and diesel at the same time. And the like they said, the methane's so much cheaper that you can reduce the cost, say, for like a fracking pump. So we can go out, and some of those fracking pumps use $20,000 worth of diesel a day. And we can come in and take 55% of that out and put the methane into there that we can produce right there from that gas flares, or right there that's stranded in that area, and use it for the oil production industry and reduce their diesel cost.
Wow. That is amazing. And look how much there is under the United States. When he would prophesy these things, I wondered visually what he would see. And there were many times I asked him and he would tell me, but not every time, obviously. And he was getting glimpses of this. And when I am now you and I, here we sit in the future that he was seeing and looking at this map, that is abundant and just not being used where it could be. Wow, that's incredible. Lou, next slide.
And that's actually from a wellhead. That's a picture of a wellhead. So that's another source that we can go to, that we can come in and connect directly to a wellhead. That liquefy.
I think we're losing our connection with Walter.
And we have equipment that does.
Walter, I think he's frozen, Lou. I'm pretty sure Walter froze. I'm just going to give him a moment.
There, we just came back on.
Oh, there we go. He's back.
I kind of got kicked out. I don't know what I saw it kick off. Well, that is
you froze there for a second, but start over from when we first put this picture
okay,
up.
This is a gas well, and they have a wellhead there. And what we can do is we can connect to that wellhead and produce 10,000 gallons a day of LNG off of a wellhead, while it still is putting the natural gas into the pipeline. So it's another source that we can go and take it there, that it's not being used, and we can still have it right there at the wellhead.
Wow.
And then and we can take it directly from gas wells. So if we drill the gas well, we can do this all. Now, one of the things that, the last thing is, we can also do it from coal mines. There's methane that comes out of coal mine gas. So we can go down and capture that methane out of the coal mines and turn it into LNG and at wherever at the site of the coal mines.
What is LNG?
LNG is liquefied natural gas.
Liquefied natural. Thank you. I didn't know.
Yes. And everything that we put on is environmentally friendly liquefied natural gas. We have environmentally friendly compressed natural gas. Well, we'll be going through all the different fuels, but what you need to realize is that the methane that we're having that comes out of all these sources, we can also take that methane or LNG or anything and turn it into hydrogen. So it's both. It's like a stepgap that we can start with the LNG and natural gas, and we can convert over into better new technologies that are cleaner and convert it into hydrogen, and they cross over from one to the next.
Wow. That's incredible. It really helps having the visuals, especially for someone like me. I'm starting to understand a lot better now. June 16th of 2007, my dad prophesied there will be an acceleration so that America would suddenly have 5 new sources of energy. There will be 5, not 1, but 5 sources of energy. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where I actually had a conversation with him about this. And he said there would be 5 different, he saw 5 different ones. Specifically, he saw 5.
So we'll go ahead and step into each one of those. There are the 5 sources that we can, and this is all coming from the methane, coming from all these different sources that we just went through. And that's environmentally friendly liquefied natural gas. And we can turn that into environmentally friendly compressed natural gas. So we can truck that to a place like a gas station, and they take the liquid and it just turns it into a gas right at the pump, so that you can have both LNG and CNG at the same station.
Oh.
So that both sides of that. So the third is environmentally friendly compressed propane gas, because there are gas liquids that are in all the methane and all the flares and everything that comes out of the ground that we have to strip out before we make the methane, and they're just additional fuels. And propane and butane, which are the two biggest of those, are actually considered as environmentally friendly fuels from the 1990 Clean Air Act. They're the only fuel that they consider that's a fossil fuel that's environmentally friendly. And then we also have our environmentally friendly carbon-free hydrogen gas. And then the final thing is our environmentally friendly electric power production. And a lot of this is, you see all those 5 sources, and they can all be used for multiple things. But right now, we're tying in, and as we've been going out, we're having all these AI facilities come and say, we need electric power. And we can go to any state that has stranded gas, and we can go ahead and liquefy that and take it to the AI facility and put a turbine that will run off of that, off of the methane, that will produce power right directly into the facility so that it doesn't take as big of a strain on the rest of the power grid.
Yes. Okay, this is beginning to make sense. This is pretty amazing. Now, the next thing we have lined up here is actually a video. And this was in 2008, April 20th. Do you want to go ahead and watch that now? Are you ready for that, Walter?
Yeah, well, okay. Well, that's stepping out now. We're done. There's a lot more to cover on. And like I said, the last thing I'll end on the turbines for the power plants is that we can take those and we can also produce hydrogen. They will run on at least 50% hydrogen, the ones that exist right now. Some of them run on 100% hydrogen. So we can come in and start with LNG. And then once we start producing hydrogen, we can come in and run it 50-50, or we can run it 75-50. And the more hydrogen, the cleaner it gets every time. And you can get to the point that you're running on 100% hydrogen. And that is the future as we step into it. That's going to be the fuel of the future. That's going to be the environmentally friendly fuel of the future. And just for one last thing before, because the next section is going into the FirePoint, the computer system. But the final thing on this is that when I look at the big E, I look at it as the environment, environmentally friendly. Every one of these fuels say environmentally friendly. So its effect on the environment. You see all the whole world saying, "Oh, we're destroying the world from using these fuels and doing this and doing that." Well, that's the purpose, is to come out with new, cleaner, more environmentally friendly fuels. And that was always what I thought the E would stand for, would be environment.
Well, that makes sense to me. I had never thought about that before, but now that you just laid it out, every single one of those environmentally friendly, and that is important. The climate change people have certainly abused that arena, but it is important, and you don't have to worry about that, or like you were saying earlier, the fumes. And my dad prophesied the fumes. So interesting. And Lou, I'm not sure where we are in the slides.
Okay,
but why don't you call it, Walter?
We should be to that video
from PowerPoint.
Yeah, okay, but let me do a quick introduction on this for you. All right. All right. Well, Rory Kay, who I talked to you about, also has connected with a gentleman which is by far is the smartest person on this planet right now. And I can't use any names. I can't give you anything about him because it's very dangerous, because he is actually working on supercomputers, on AI and the supercomputer that he's about to put out. And that's part of what Kim prophesied about as well. But I wanted to just bring up how he introduced me about this new technology. And he told me that about the gentleman, and he is also Jewish heritage, but he's also believes in Jesus, believes in Yeshua, and he has a wife that's Chinese. And this is a type of guy that he spends months at a time that he just sits on the computer and he does nothing 24 hours a day. He leaves his wife, and while he spends that time away from his wife prays for him 8 to 10 hours a day.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So Rory came to me and said, the neat thing, he goes, I found this new computer system. And he said, he's talking about the new computer system that this guy is building right now. And he said, it can put an avatar out into a room, which is like a hologram.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, you know what? He goes, we're looking at a cost of maybe $2,000 for this computer. He goes, but I want to sell it to churches for $500 so that we can put a pastor handle a church service so that, and it would be generated that can answer every question and designed to lead people to Christ.
Wow. Well,
So,
that's using the technology for good, for sure.
yes. All right. So now that I said that, let's go into this April 20th, 2008 Long Island prophecy.
There's a whole new system that's being raised up, says the Spirit. A whole brand new computer that has a speed greater than lightning. People shall say, no, this is more evil. God said, it's my doing. This computer and this whole technology shall reach the entire earth. Every being on the face of the earth shall be reached by this ludicrous, they call it ludicrous speed. And it shall be possible for men and women in India, third world countries, to hear the gospel in seconds. Out of New York and Seattle, Washington, this shall happen. I say this to you because I'm going to give you and have given you young men and women that are so sharp. You will be on one of the first to have this technology. You shall use it and change this into a multi-billion concern. Why? So that God said you will be able to fund. You will be able to give out. And as in the days of Moses, you will say to the people, stop giving. We have too much.
Ooh, praise God. That was beautiful. And I remember that prophecy very well.
So now that you can look at that and you go back through it and we kind of look at the different parts of it, but the most important thing is that it says, God says he wants to use it. It's God using it. It's him bringing this new technology. And what this is for us to use it for God first before it's going to turn to the bad. So this new, the latest AI technology, we can use for God first. And actually, with the company, with the Gabriel Environmental Rescue, I've brought the person who owns this technology, and he's becoming part of Gabriel Environmental Rescue, so that we can go out and take our existing technology for capturing the LNG and stuff, and we can make it better and make it faster by using this technology for business. Okay. And at the same time, this is the same computer system. And I talked to the person that controls it, and he said, this is a system that will cure all sickness and disease, which is another prophecy of your fathers.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? More than once he prophesied that, because it's famously in the 2027 prophecy, but I was just looking at something earlier today and saw it again. And so that's why, because I was just looking at that for something else this morning. It is quite, it is so much better when we have video of him, where you actually hear him. He was so energetic and the way he expressed himself. So we have January 13th of 2010 next. Are we ready for that one yet, Walter?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that one.
Okay.
Hear these words, for when it does come, they shall say, it is not going to be of anything. Fire point, remember it. When it comes of those words, it shall be something that will accelerate the ability and technology for us to minister throughout the earth within seconds and get into homes without the need of a television. I've seen it. I know it sounds completely crazy, but I've seen it. And information, Daniel says, that information, man's knowledge shall increase. Men shall go to and fro across the face of the earth, and knowledge will increase. And that's exactly what's happened. Within minutes, in seconds, we can transfer one file across the earth. Knowledge is going across the earth. God said, this is just the beginning. For my prophetic word shall go throughout.
Wow.
Well, it basically was the same thing, kind of what we were going over before. But, and as I read through those, because I never looked at these prophecies until we were just connecting now, just over this weekend.
Yes.
And after Rory told me about this avatar, well, that is the way it's telling you in that prophecy that this avatar can get into every single home. And that's the way that we can lead people to Christ. And that's the way that we can preach the gospel of the kingdom across the whole world, because that has to be done before Christ can return.
Yes. And you know what's interesting is Fire Point, and he had seen more than one occasion, but particularly in 2013, he saw the little flames in houses, house churches, and little flames in houses, and that change coming. And that's very interesting when you start to look at the technology, because of course, when people see AI and digital currencies and all these things, everybody's initial reaction is Mark of the Beast, the Antichrist. And, I always say to people, but that's happening no matter what. And in the meantime, we're supposed to be spreading the gospel to everyone. That's this cross that I have around my neck. My dad gave this to me when I was 17. And so I've had it around my neck ever since. And it's not a cross like the traditional one. This is one that's spread in all directions. You see that? So is this cross that I have tattooed on my arm. And that is the message in that symbol, is to spread the gospel throughout the earth. So that's what we are responsible to do. And I just think, that our instinct when we see these things, just like when the internet came out and everybody said www is the 666. And you know what? These may be we know these are the avenues to that, but we're not there yet. And we have all of these tools at our disposal that we can use for good. So whatever is here, the enemy can always use for evil, but we can take it and use it for good, and to spread the gospel in all directions throughout the earth, like that cross and the cross on my arm. I got that cross on my arm after my dad died, because that was the cross he had tattooed on his arm, his only tattoo. And so it's all very symbolic, and does require of us a little bit of digging, and to be brave in this time, and not to be allowed to allow ourselves to be controlled by fear. And so that's very, very interesting, Walter. And what do we have next on our list here?
I don't know if you have. That was.
I think that's it. Oh, he's shouting. That's it. Okay. That's right. It is it. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, we had stuff off the front side that we pulled off because we knew we were going to be shorter today.
Yes. And we are actually running out of time, but I want you to tell everybody before we go, because this has been so interesting, Walter. You're going to have to come back. But you had shared with us about Gabriel Environmental. Can you tell us what that is?
Gabriel Environmental Rescue is, well, we designed it around flared gas to start out with, so that we were capturing flared gas, but God has showed us that there's all these other sources that we can go and capture the gas from. So what we've done is that we have are in process of licensing some new technology that we can produce methane with. And to start out with, we have the mobile units that we can go out with and produce LNG in the field for that diesel replacement, or for anything within the oil and gas industry that uses diesel, or as an electric replacement to produce electric power in the fields as well. And then the other side of stuff is that we also have a bigger piece of equipment, which is actually 20 of the smaller ones, that produces a large amount of LNG. We're looking mainly at stranded gas because there's so much of it there. And we're just talking the US right now.
Yes.
And we're just going to take that. Each one of those does 68 megawatts of electric power a day we can produce.
Wow.
So right now we have a huge demand. We've probably had 15 or 20 AI facilities say, if you can get us electric power, we'll pay for everything up front. You just got to do it because there's such a demand for this electric power. So we're focusing on that because that's where most of the money is. And we can go in and we can put 2 turbines out of a plant that does 68 megawatts. We can put 2 turbines that match up to that, 235 or 34 megawatt turbines that can run into these AI facilities, and we can charge them 5 cents a kilowatt hour, and we will make yearly off of that electric power about over $22 million just from providing that electric power.
Wow.
So that's our we're going to start out with that mainly because there's such a huge demand for this electric power right now.
Huge.
But to step back from that, and part of the company is, like I said, we've been out. We actually connected with Sultan Al Jaber, who was the UAE, who owns a big oil company. He was actually president, I think, of COP29, and they were trying to figure out with flared gas. So we have met with a number of Middle Eastern countries that want us to have a new source of electric power. Now, India is a little different. They want to use it for fuel for their vehicles because they have that market there. But that's pretty much a worldwide thing. If you can go in, you can see just how much gas flaring and all these other services. But you know, it's all been opened up, and it's always, God always tells me to think bigger, and it always gets bigger every time. And to not jump back away from anything, but to go back to the guy that's building the computer system. He has actually told me that he would be willing to come on the show and talk to you incognito, because
incognito. That's exciting. Okay.
We have to, you know, this technology that he has is every government in the world wants it. He's far ahead of everything else. He's ahead of Grok. He's ahead of all this other stuff. He actually has ways that he compresses things into computers, the technology. And well, one of the things he said to me, he said, start powering the AI centers, because in time, he goes, before you know it, I'm going to be able to compress an AI center into a laptop. So that's the kind of technology we're talking about. And that's the technology that God wants to come in and take over this earth and use it for kingdom purposes.
Yes.
So, and that's the same thing with Gabriel Environmental Rescue. We are out there. Obviously, you can make a lot of money off all these different things, but there's only so much money anybody can spend. You know,
right.
That's the whole thing. Once you have it, what do you want to do with it? We got to put it into the kingdom.
Yes.
And one of my callings that the Lord has put on me is to help fulfill other people's callings. And that's one of the reasons I'm talking to you today, because I want to come in and help you fulfill your calling to bring Kim's ministry out. It's not my ministry, it's your ministry. And I want to urge everybody out there, all these people that go out there and trying to figure out all this stuff. Well, why don't you sow into the kingdom first? Why doesn't Donna have enough money to do anything that she wants to do for ministry? You know,
Exactly.
all these people are looking for personal gain, but you have to sow into the kingdom before God's going to give you that gain. And that's what this is all about. This is about God bringing the kingdom and coming forward. And this is the call to everybody right now. It's time for you to step out in the call that God put on your life for this day and this time. Every Christian, it's time for you to step out. It's time for us to take over the world for God right now so that we can prepare for his return.
That is exactly right, Walter. And you know what? That I think that way of thinking has been so corrupted by the enemy, slandering Christians and Christians who slander one another, and a lot of stone throwing going on, a lot of envy and oh, look at this person's mansion and look how well this person does. And you know what? If a person is a crook, they need to be called out and God will handle them. But it doesn't mean that we don't take care of one another, because you know what? The enemy the people on the other side, they take care of one another. Our media has been completely taken over. Governments have been taken over, and they have plenty of resources. And so Christians need to be supporting one another. And that's something my dad taught me, how important it was to give. But not just to give randomly, but to sow where there's fruit, and where you see the fruit, and you see that it's producing good fruit, whatever it may be, especially in this new environment that we're in. We have the internet. The way you and I are sitting and talking now, it would have taken a lot more for us to do this 20 years ago. We would have had to fly to meet one another and be in person. But now we have this technology we can use for good. And as we, navigate through this new way of doing things, the church is changing. And so you'll find, there's different people I watch who God has directed me to, and that's where I sow. And that's where the fruit is. That's where God, being obedient is really important too. And so that's a very important part of this, because we need to support one another. Something else that I wanted to ask you about before you go is what you are doing in Africa and his team. Can you tell us just a little bit about
It's
that?
actually his first team is what
His
it's
first
called.
team. Thank you.
That's what you see my hat here. That's actually the emblem from his first team. And we have chaplains throughout Africa. We have 30 chaplains in East Africa, 30 chaplains in West Africa, and 30 chaplains in South Africa. And their job is to go out and preach the gospel of the kingdom the same way that Jesus did. And then they pray and lay hands and heal people. So that's our agenda. We are all throughout that. That's my personal nonprofit, is his first team. We have done all kind of things throughout Africa, from we've done solar lighting to water filtration systems. We have just multiple things that we've done. We have an office in Rwanda in East Africa right now, and we're doing last year the government asked us to come in and supply roofing for outhouses, and we did a thing called Roofing for Refugees that we came out and gave into. And right now, at this present time, we do job training. We take kids off the street in Rwanda, and we come in and we have them go through cosmetology school. And we have a cosmetology school that has 45 graduates a year. And actually, we just are doing a graduation class right now. It just happened. And we sow into their lives. And then we kind of go from that point, and we try to raise up money to give them, like, buy them razors and clippers and scissors and stuff, so they can go out and start their own jobs and get a living out of it. And we get a lot of respect from the government, recognizes us and everything that we do, because we go in and make sure we're registered with them and everything. And there's a huge outreach that we have to cover, which is Nigeria in that area. There are so much issues there. We have 30 chaplains there, and it's just even to feed people.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. They're all refugees, and that's another prophecy that your dad said. I think it. I know it was in the Tennessee one because I use it sometimes. A clip. He said that it'll be a refugee economy, which means
Yes.
God will take care of the refugees.
Yes.
And that's what we're doing in Africa. We also, Rory also has in India that we're dealing with people in the dumps. We're doing education there. And he's led, I'll let, when he'll be on your show whenever you want him, I'll let him explain all that stuff on that side of stuff to you. But all of this is the His First Team ministry, which you are now becoming a part of, because everybody that's a part of Gabriel Environmental Rescue is a part of the His First Team ministry, and it's there to help you fulfill the calling that God put on your life, and everyone else that's a part of it, you'll see. And there are other people that are tied into it out of your ministry, like Charlie Jordan. I've become very good friends with, and I've even connected with your uncle in South Africa. Yes. And so there's been a time that there's been, some people that I've been dealing directly with to get to this point. But this is the time. It's God's timing. We can get out. But I want to urge you and anyone else there, as well as to go to Donné and donate to the House of Destiny and Donné's ministry. And if you have it on your heart, go and look on my YouTube channel, which is Walt B. And you can see all of our different things that we do throughout Africa and around the world as well. And go to hisfirstteam.com. Are we done?
No. I'm wanting to tell Lou to put it back on the screen. Okay. There you go. Is it .org or .org?
It's .org, and give today.
Yes, and everybody, if you are, I can see super chats coming in. Thank you guys so much for that. And go and look at hisfirstteam.org if you want to learn more about Walter and what he is doing, because God is really using him greatly, and really it is the right time, Walter. For instance, COVID-19, when we first met, that hadn't happened yet. We were still in the middle of the journey. Now we're far enough along, we can really start to reach the unreachable and touch the untouchable. And that's what God has called us to do, no matter what. And so he really has blessed you with something that is truly needed in this world right now. And also, especially that he's sent you to Africa, as we see the slaughter of Christians happening across Africa.
We've had some chaplains. Yeah. We've had chaplains who had their children stolen. So, it's just horrible. They'll just go into churches and shoot people in Nigeria, in that area.
This is what we're seeing more and more reports, and it's just shocking. And even in India, there's the attack on Christians. And like you said at the beginning of the broadcast, only 10% of the world is Christian. We need to get that up to 90%. And so I know you're doing what God called you to do. And it's really special that he's called you to help others fulfill their destiny. And this is the House of Destiny. And that's really what he called my dad to do, just in my dad's way. And so it's really beautiful to see the way God uses people, and sometimes in unexpected ways. And so
Amen.
It's been just such a blessing to have you here today. We really have blessed me, and I know our viewers today too. So many people are there's so many positive comments, and a lot of people are very interested in this, because we can see the change, and we can see the necessity for an adjustment in our perception. And really that's what it has to do, is how we see things has to shift. And that is part of what the prophetic is about as well. And so it's not just predicting stuff. There's a lot more to the prophetic than just prophecy. And so fulfilling our destinies, that's the most important part. Why are we here? Why did God put us here? For what purpose? We're not just, what is it? Useless eaters is what Yuval Noah Harari and the World Economic Forum likes to call us. But that's also what the devil likes to call us, but that is a lie. And
Mm.
so I thank you so much for joining me today, Walter. Is there something
Do
else
we
you want
do
to
we have
say?
enough time that I can pray for you?
Please do. I was going to ask. I was going to ask if you would. And for everybody watching, we've got so many
Yes,
people
yes.
watching right now. Thousands of people are watching.
I
You can
thank you,
go ahead.
Father God, and I give you all the praise and honor and glory, Lord God. And we thank you for this day and this connection today, this God connection today, and the opportunity to come together as one body, Lord God. And we thank you for the unity that we can come out and bring these. I pray over Donna and all those in the House of Destiny that every single need is met, every spiritual need, every physical need, any healing need, and every
Yes.
financial need. And I thank you for this opportunity to connect today and to connect with the world to bring this forward. And I just give you all the praise and all the honor and all the glory in Jesus' precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Walter. You are truly a blessing. And we are really grateful for you. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing this very interesting stuff with us. I have really gotten an education today. And so you're going to have to come back and you're going to have to bring your friend, even
Well,
if he has to be
I got,
incognito.
yes. And also, I'll have you on with the Messianic Rabbi Prophet too. He said he would be
Very
happy to come on
important.
with you anytime.
Yes, because that's something else my dad prophesied. Wow. Okay, so we've had a fantastic time today. Thank you again, Walter, for joining us. Everybody, let me just check the chat because I haven't been able to, I've been so engrossed in what Walter was saying that I wanted to see what some of you have to say. Oh, not everybody's saying amen. Oh, there's a delay. Oh my gosh. Thanks to Walter. A lot of amens. And you know, Walter's someone who's doing something about what is happening in Africa right now. And I keep saying, what do we do? It's so difficult to find a way. Well, God sent us Walter today, not only to educate us on the potential of new energies that was prophesied by my dad, but ways in which we can help to spread the gospel. And again, it does push us to shift our perception and how we've grown used to seeing things, that God's changing that. And that is a very huge part about what's happening. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be back next week. Of course, don't miss anything at the House of Destiny Network this week. And don't miss, you see it at the bottom of the screen or to the side of me now, don't miss my interview with Eric Trump. It will be up on Wednesday, wherever you watch us. You can go if you're on YouTube or Rumble or X. Lou, is it going to be on Facebook? I don't know. Probably not. They censor us too much. But it will be also at the House of Destiny Network. So if you're ever in doubt, just go to houseofdestiny.org, kimclement.com, or you can use that QR code that's right there on the screen. But either way, don't miss my interview with Eric. It was really good. He gave me 45 minutes and we had a great time. And so I want to share that with you guys, that experience, because it really, the way God is moving has just been just beautiful. But I have to go now. It's my sister Shushu's 14th birthday today. So everybody say happy birthday to Shushu. And I'm going to go and sing happy birthday to her. Thank you again to Walter Blagage, just an awesome, awesome man of God. God is using him so gratefully and greatly, sorry. And I am so grateful to him for coming on with us today. And also, one more thing, my husband has done a new painting of Jesus, you guys. Lou, can you put that up? I know I can see it. There it is. Oh, it's covering me up. Look at that. This is the new Jesus he did. And, you know, he'd been sitting there working on it for a while, and it's blowing me away how good he is at this. So if you are interested, you cannot get these through the ministry. This is not something the ministry does. My husband does these beautiful works of art, and he would love for you to have one. So you can email him. The only way that you can get one is if you email him. His email address is at the bottom of the screen. It's very exclusive. So if you do want, I know the holidays are coming up, and if you haven't seen, Lou, put up the lion and the Jesus. So now he has 3. He's got the Jesus, and you guys know that was earlier this year. That just went viral, and on the internet, not through me, not through the ministry, through his page. And so many people saw it and loved it. They started contacting me. You can get one that in black and gray or with the gold, which he does by hand, and sometimes I help putting the gold leafing on those. And then, of course, God showed me the lion. And so I said, "You've got to do a lion." He did the lion. And God showed me that lion right before Israel did Operation Rising Lion with Iran. And their flag used to have the lion on it, and the kind of lion. You guys know the story. I'm not going to tell you all again. But he did the lion. Now he's done. Put it up again, Lou, the new Jesus. And this is, there it is. I know you guys are probably, let me go see. Yeah, I see. Tried to order, Debbie. Email him. The email address is on the bottom of the screen there. Email him. He will get back to you. And just let him know what you want. And yeah, we're just so blessed to have such an incredible artist. I am so blessed to have such an incredible artist as a husband. And he just creates these beautiful things. And so, yes, again, if you want one, email him. That's the only way you can get it. Do not email the ministry. Don't call us here because we're not managing that. It's only through him, my husband, John. There's his email address. Also, all week long, we have stuff for you at the House of Destiny Network. So don't miss it. Prophetic Rewind. And our vault partners, thank you so much to our vault partners. It is because of you that we are able to digitize all of this old footage and some of that stuff that we were wanting to play today that Walter was sharing with us. We didn't have video for. This is the stuff we're trying to hunt down too. So if you join our vault partnership, that helps us. It's only $7 or more a month, and it's so worth it. If you go back there, we've got the prophecy database as is on the website. It will always be there, but in the vault partnership, we've upgraded it a little bit, and it cost for us to do it, but we did it. And yes, the painting will be a wonderful Christmas gift. If you're wanting to give someone something beautiful and unique for Christmas, that's one way of doing it. Also, join our vault partnership if you want to support. Just support what we're doing here, sharing the prophecies, but also digitizing all of that old footage into a format that we can then share online. And so you're a part of something great when you join our vault partnership. And my dad's School of the Prophets teachings are in there as well, available to you, as well as Christy and I. When we do analysis, and just for whatever reason, if there are things that we want to share with you guys that we cannot share on social medias like YouTube because we'll get censored, you can go in there and we share that extra stuff. And it's more personal stuff too sometimes. If I want to talk about my kids and things like that, I'll go in there. And so do consider joining our partnership. And also, we've got the Eric Trump. I didn't forget that. Keep your eye on Israel Update as well, because everything happening in Israel, we have Duby Sabo on the ground in Israel reporting, and he and Christy Desfontaine, Christy produces the channel. She works with with Duby in Israel, and we are able to give you unfiltered, uncensored information from the ground in Israel. So it's just it's a really good thing to have at this time, especially those of you who are following what has been going on in Israel. And of course, on Thursdays, we have Real Life, Real Faith, or Charlie Jordan, Perspectives of the Prophetic. We alternate that every other week. And then Saturdays, we have Church with Fa. And don't miss our prayer meeting on Tuesday night. Gathering of the Dangerous, 7 p.m. Central. We go live. We take your comments, your prayer requests via email. So you can email hope@houseofdestiny.org with your prayer request today. And Pastor Fa will get that, and we'll pray for you live on Tuesday, and also in the comments too. So if you join us and you got a prayer request, you just put it in the comments and we will pray together for each other. And so thank you so much, everybody, again for joining us, and we'll see you next week. We have Andrew Sorcini from Beverly Hills Precious Metals with us today. Someone has a 401k can they take some of that and purchase gold as an investment for their future?
They can, and it's a great way to do it, because if you have an IRA, a government TSP account, a 401k from a company that you used to work at but don't work at anymore, or if you still work at the company and you're over 59 and a half, these can be rolled over into a precious metals IRA. And if you were to speak to your financial advisor about it, they'll tell you, oh, this is a taxable event. They'll tell you things like gold and silver are volatile. But really, the thing is, they don't want you to get into precious metals because it doesn't benefit them monetarily. I'm here to tell you that your accounts can be rolled into a precious metals IRA without it being a taxable event. You would own real gold and silver that is stored in a third-party depository that's insured in a lockbox with your name on it.
So if someone goes to bh-pm.com, is that the correct website? Okay, and that's going to be on the bottom of the screen. If they go there today, what do they need to do?
Okay, so there's an online form there, and the form, almost every page on the website has the online form. So you just fill in your first name, last name, email address, telephone number, say that Kim Clement sent you, or the House of Destiny. We'll know what you mean. And in the notes section, be as detailed as you can. Sometimes people put things in there like, I'm a complete novice. I really don't understand precious metals. I've been wanting to understand. I want to invest, but really I need more information first. Then put that in there. If you're someone that's been investing in gold and silver for years and really don't need a consultation, you just want to check prices, then put that in there.
Everybody watching, if you are interested in precious metals, this is where you want to go. Thanks again.
Thank you.